I've been exposed to dance since I want to say early '80s when I was younger. Um, in one of my daycares, I even have footage, and I have it on my Mental DVD. Footage of me doing some footwork, little whack backspin. So I've been exposed to dance for a long time, uh, and there was a point where I did break in is it 81? Not 81. I'm like 86, 87. But it was short lived. And then fast forward to like 94, I moved to Florida from New York, and I was actually, I'm sorry, let me go back. I would always impersonate Michael, so that's where the whole exposure to dance came from. And then so trying to be like Michael, impersonating Michael, doing a bit of breaking, and then fast forward 1994, I end up in Tampa, Florida. I meet some guys from Connecticut that rap, hip hop, dance. So I got into that, and then later on, '95 is when I got exposed again to breaking, and then from there's kind of history. So that was like a little brief backstory.
The love for music and the feeling that movement gave me when I did it. Like it felt good to like do something that I didn't think I could do. Especially to when you create your own thing that someone else is probably not doing. That's one of the good feelings that I strive for as far as when I dance.
Since I was already dancing already, like doing just to techno house, there was a talent show, and this kid Ryan from Gonzalez, Filipino cat from I want to say San Diego. He was doing a talent show, and he in school, in the high school that I was going to, and he was looking for another dancer, and one dude Pedro was like, "Yo, I know another kid that dances. He could be in your, he could fill in one of the slots." And so I met the guy Ryan. He's like, "Oh, let me see what you could do." I don't know what the heck I was doing. My probably my biggest move was like a suicide. So I would do suicide, and I would just do like some kind of whack popping. Um, it was weird, and from there, got exposed to breaking. And actually, Flips was part of that show where he was tumbling across the stage, actually off the stage, tumbling across on the ground where the audience is at. And that's when I met him, and I was like, "Yo, I think you could be really, really dope. We should practice together." And that's how it started. Me and him started practicing. The guy Ryan, I don't know where he's at, so I don't know. He doesn't know. At least I don't think he knows how far I took breaking. So I would say around that time, '95. Maybe he was still around, maybe a year, and then after that, he was just ghost. So I haven't heard from him ever since. I don't know where he's at. Um, but it'll be great to actually connect with him if he's still around, still alive. Skill Methodz, the name came later, but I've always been a fan of Wu Tang, and I've always been a fan of like one name or two names. So I was like rock, steady, style, elements. So I was like, we need something like that. And then I was like, okay, Wu Tang, Method Man, Methods, Skill, Style Methods, Methods of Skill. That's what it was first. I showed, I think Flips and Venom. They're like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, and then we flipped it, so it became Skill Methods. That's how it started. So it's almost like homage to Method Man for some reason. And what's crazy is that I got to do a movie with Method Man. Man, at my age now, it means so many different things, right? Respecting the culture. I would say uh, giving respect to those before me, right? That paved the way. Uh, and still contributing to the culture, still contributing to being part of the community. So if I can say it in short, I would say that my answer probably will always change or be refined, but as of now, that's what I would say. Stop watching social media. um, because it's gonna, even back in the days, I got influenced by so many different things. Like at one point I'm like looking like Ken Swift, or then I'm looking like something else. And so it's like, yes, have your influences, but stop. I don't know. I guess stop watching so many people and just kind of be in your moment all the time. It's hard to say, right? It's like for me, it was always like, okay, I know what I want to do. I always wanted to combine Storm, Ken Swift, right? And how would I do that? And so take that, combine it, and then eventually make it my own. So I think for me, I mean, if you was to ask, yeah, just discover this. Like, you have to discover what you are in the movement and how you react in the movement. Um, Authenticity, just yeah, it's hard, right? It's like just I think expressing yourself honestly, it sounds like Bruce Lee, but it's true. It's like expressing yourself without thinking I have to do this move. It's like I'm just gonna react. I think that's how you can be authentic, as much as authentic as you can, is by reacting, right? Whether it's in the moment, whether it's in a practice. Right now, that's like I said, that's the only thing I can think of to be authentic, because there's so many. You can do one move now, and then you can see like, oh, so that move was done 20 years ago, right? Exactly. And I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen like, oh, I've seen, things that, I've done or people have done in the 90s, and people do it now, but maybe they don't know about the certain b-boy from the 90s, and it was already done, right? So authenticity, I think it just comes to just how you express, like, get the fundamentals, right? Like, okay, the fundamentals are what? This, and that. Whether it's backspins, pencil drills, footwork, or what have you. That's a template, really. And then eventually it's like, how do you express yourself within those templates? To break form, like your form. Um, well, I think, yeah, I think that's where expression comes in, right? Because you discover, okay, this is me. This is how I express myself. This is how I do a chair freeze. Come different from somebody else. This is how I do top rock, right? I think it is important to exaggerate and what's the word? There was a word. It was just there. For me, I I needed to see how I can take top rocking, right, and express it in a different way. So um, yes, you definitely. I think it's necessary for you to break form in the sense of, okay, what can I take from kung fu? And you will hear this a lot from a lot of people, right? From kung fu, from different, from animal styles, and even other dances like house and popping, and that's all the stuff that I've done. Top rock and breaking, I've fused something of breaking, of something of house, something of popping, something of animalistic movement, kung fu, and but then making sure that it still looks b-boy ish. You don't want it to. I never liked the idea of like, I'm just gonna do, a house step in my top rock, and then that's it. No, I want to make it different so it looks like a b-boy step. So yeah, definitely break form, but then, sorry, how can you make this look like a b-boy style? I would go back, and I don't remember. It's very vague because it's been a while, right? Seeing the documentary. To me, I would go back and dissect that question, or have him dissect his answer. What do you mean by gangs? Because it can mean different things. When I think of like, okay, it has to be like a gang, meaning don't represent anybody else but us, right? You can't play the both sides of the fence. You have to be with us or you're against us. So when someone says that, that's what I think about. But ultimately, I don't know. Essentially, I don't know what he means by that, right? But that's what I get from it. Peace, love, and unity, having fun. I think also it's an adaptation, right? When it comes to breaking, we adapt things, from many cultures, from many tribes, right? Like the whole gangster, uh, what you call it, idea or concept. It's like bikers, right? You think of bikers sometimes. It's like, yo, I'm gonna have my jacket, and it's gonna have my crew, and I'm representing. So wherever I represent, it's not a mess. We know, oh, those are those cats, you know. And so, where does that? How does that mix? I don't know, but I can see that. Yeah, I don't know how that mixes, but I can see how mixing, peace, unity, having fun. Even again, what does that really mean? That, like, definitions change over time. People say things just to say things. Like, for me, it's like, oh, it's a vibe. Back then, I could express myself like saying, oh, b-boying is just a vibe. I wouldn't say that today, because I'm more mature, and I see the world different. I see movement different. So, in my eyes, peace, unity, and having fun, and then kind of like correlating that with like a gangster's concept. Who knows? Who knows how that matches? I can say that, what, we have the concept of being like a gangster, but we've, instead of being violent, we're coming together and actually having a fusion of tribe-like essence together when we dance. Yeah, and the thing is too is like, I truly, genuinely feel that breaking is one of those things that it creates unity in some way, and not even some way, in a lot of ways. Like, come on, bro, we all come from different cultures. You know what I'm saying? Uh, even in jujitsu, like, you come from different cultures, different backgrounds, and you're able to, like, respect each other no matter what you believe. You know, and I'm truly grateful to have that, because in a time like now, where there's so much division, it's like, now you start to like, do we really have some unity? Like, are we really like unified? You know? Yeah, I would say yes, if we just keep everything else out of breaking. It's strictly breaking. You know what I'm saying? But when you start, and I'm not saying this is not, this shouldn't happen. When you start having conversations of the outside world, um, who knows what that could look like. Who knows? I mean, there were so many different cases. Uh, you know, what that makes me think of is, there was a battle that I had in 2006 with the crew, and uh, they put up the battle, and for them, we were favored, right? And but somebody spoke down to them, and at the same, even back then, I didn't approve of the way what they said about them. They were like, "Oh, they're breakers. They're not b-boys," and I was like, that's kind of whack. But um, and their comments on like posting the footage was like, we didn't have it easy back in the days. We had to prove ourselves, and I had to like share with that same person. I was like, yo, I understand you, bro. Like, we didn't have it easy either. Like, we were, have a crew from Tampa. We're going to Miami, and people in Miami didn't like us. It's like, who the heck are these kids? They're whack, and they were more advanced than us, by maybe 3 4 years maybe. And so that reminds me of that, of if I was being misunderstood, who knows? I don't even know. But as far as breaking, yeah, there were times where we had to prove ourselves as a small little. We weren't accepted. We were just like, we were like whatever we, whether it was like the new kids around the block, like you're maybe a new generation to somebody, so it's like you have to prove yourself in the sense of like, okay, I can hang with these kids, or these kids can hang with us, or there'll be a time where there was a some friction where people were like talking smack and saying that I would bite some things from Migas and whatnot, and that was a whole another thing. And eventually I think it got resolved, but ultimately when I changed up, I was like, you know what, I need to do something different so nobody says anything or just start burning people. I appreciate you bringing it up. Foundational methods, man. This is just a quick backstory, or I'll try to be quick. Foundational methods is, bro. I would say it's probably as early as 2005, 2006. So I have it documented that it was 2006. It's probably, I would assume it's a little earlier than that. So originally, foundational methods was supposed to be something that for my crew, meaning like, hey, let's use this name and we're gonna teach. Like if I let's say, whether it's Florida or New York or Cali, we have a specific name for a specific move, right? We all come together, and Abstract calls it this, Flea calls it that, California calls it this, right? And so Foundational Methods is supposed to be a collective of skill methods style, and kind of like sharing like what is almost like documentation, like what are these moves? Yes, we can learn it from Wiggles and from these other pioneers, but obviously we have to pass that down. And so that was the initial idea. And so it never I was the only one that carried it. So I was like, all right, every now and then I kind of like did a workshop that was called Foundational Methods. And so Foundational Methods, obviously, it's not obviously, but not everybody knows, but it's a community on school.com. And honestly, right now for founding members, it's only pretty much like $1.42 a month, but it's $17 for the year, right? Because eventually, because it's still being built, um, right now it's just founding member rate. Eventually, it's going to go up, but I don't know when that's going to happen. Maybe when there's 100 members, who knows? But I wanted Foundational Methods to be a place where we can connect, uh, have conversations, right? Besides having cipher conversations, having real life conversations, you know, uh, kind of connect with different styles, different people. Not just people that don't know how to break, but people that have their own flavor. Maybe I could learn from them and see how they teach or see how they think. And in reality, like most of us do think the same. We just might word it different. You know, it's just yeah. Foundational methods is just me reaching out to the community and kind of sharing the stuff that I never shared really. And because eventually I'm gonna get older and not have any type of movement, you know. Other than that, you know, there were times where I would behind the scenes I would help, and I'm pretty sure other people do this. People would ask like, "Hey, what do you think about this move?" And they'll send it to me on Instagram, and I'll literally or WhatsApp, and I'll literally go and kind of do a screen recording. Oh, I think you should do this. This is dope, right? So I was like, "Hey, we could do that as a community. Why not?" And have people share. Not only me give feedback. I don't want to be the only one. I want others that are experienced to also give their own feedback. Um, yeah, but that's pretty much it for foundational methods. I don't. uh, yeah, well, I'll be honest, man. It's I can still break, but it's not like something I do every day, right? Like it's not. I'm not there trying to train for battles, which I want to do. I really want to. Uh, there's, I'll tell you off, off the record. But yeah, there's something I want to do. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it yet, and I guess I'll let you guys know if I ever do it. But it's a battle, but I really have to be conditioned. I really have to take it serious, and I don't want to be like, oh, I'm gonna get ready in 1 month. It's gonna take. I want to battle. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just have to do it around certain deficiencies, right? And so dealing with breaking these days, um, I'm like it's like this, a wave. I'm inspired. I'm re-inspired every now and then. You know, most of it, if I'm breaking, is because I want to reconnect with the community, but I also want to inspire my kid. I have two daughters, but my older daughter, she doesn't live with me, and I remember when we separated, me and my ex-wife separated. She stopped dancing, but she was always dancing. So I kind of like, I wish that didn't happen because you always want to have some type of legacy, with your children. And then with my younger daughter, she would break when I would break, and then when I stopped really practicing at home, it kind of she stopped. So I'm like, man, that's kind of whack. I would love to pass it on to her, even if it's house dancing, something with dance. I want her to carry, you know. And so these days, I have to work around deficiencies, is what I'm gonna call them. And but I still love the dance. I used to say this: I can turn my back on the culture, but I would never turn my back on the dance. You know. And the only reason why I would say that back in the days, it was always because, you just politics within the culture and dance is like, I don't want to deal with it. I love the dance, and that's it. If I go to a cipher and I get down, cool. But when it comes to jams, I'm kind of like, I don't feel like that anymore. I'm like, you know what? I accept the way things are, especially like, oh, I'm against this being a sport. I'm against it too. But I'm not gonna, trash it either. I do find jiu-jitsu to be similar to breaking in the sense that you use your hips a lot. When I first started, I was going against a wrestler and he could destroy me, but because I know how to use my hips, it was frustrating. Yeah, it's frustrating, like, and you can kind of pick up faster in some ways. So I see similarities a lot of times, especially when you're on your back, like back rock. Like if we're doing back rock, there's a movement called shrimping, where it's like you're trying to get away from the person, or you're kind of shifting your body weight to the side. So very, very similar, and that's why I think I'm okay if I never break again. But if I gotta have something like jujitsu, I don't know. I want to say it's gonna probably be cheesy, but I guess I would say express yourself freely, know your body well, and just be free all the time. It's cheesy to say, but it's the truth, man. Because it happens in jujitsu too. People stop having fun, and it's like everything's like I want to be. I can't fail. I can't fail. I can't fail. Um, if I want to add to the rule, you know, you know, it's okay to fail because how else are you gonna improve, right? You're not gonna know what your limit is, right? So when I say express freely, I mean like learn learn everything you can about breaking. Every move that you want that you ever wanted, try it. Eh, right? And like Bruce says, right? Absorb what is good and then throw out the rest. That's what I did. It's like I did all right, ice pick elbow spin. That I didn't like that, it kind of hurt. You know what I'm saying? But I did it back in the days. There's certain things I was like, I tried everything. Well, at least I think I tried everything. And then eventually it was like, all right, I gotta. I'm molding into this thing because I'm always crashing. So my crashing became a foundation for recovery. So I try to push that too. Is right. So I try to push that too. Where I think if somebody has to ask me what is the most important foundation, to me, I believe is recovery. Yes, everything else that we know, but recovery in the sense of like, how can we recover from the crash? Eventually, your body has to learn how to how to go in and out of a movement or blend, blend into the ground. It's like Tai Chi. If you learn how to blend, you won't crash. Or if you crash, you just keep going. So I don't know if that's one rule. That's like many elements in one rule. Yeah, I think you're evolving the body, right? So because bro, I'm gonna tell you right now, even to this day, all I did was crash. That's all I did was crash. So it was like sometimes I call it a crash style, or really I called it a throw style because throw style was more like I'm just throwing my body in an angle and see what happens. Like I would take risks even in a freaking battle. I was like, I'm just gonna go this way, that way, whatever, you know. And I had confidence that I would. I was like, okay, I'm 90% confident that I'm gonna flow out of it. And if I don't, oh well. You know what I'm saying? I want the name, the breaker, to be known as or represent um, discovery. Whether that's identity in your movement or identifying what your movement can do, right? Um, Breaking free from the norm, meaning, breaking free from what's real, son. You know what I mean? Like, that's cool, but it's not cool forever. You know, are you being, I don't, that's not, at least that's not me, right? There's other people that can be that, you know, discovery. There's so much more to say to that, but I could keep going. you know, explore, like explorer, like because when I break and the name the breaker, he he's an explorer, right? He exploring what he's capable of. Back in the days, I used to say it sounds silly to other people. It's like, I'm exploring the heavens and I'm trying to connect the stars in the sky. So if I go this way, I'm trying to reach it and I'm trying not to crash and burn, you know? So it's like you have these vortex and you have these spirals, and it's like, so that's where the discovery comes from,